Hi, Tom Leahy, Managing Partner OptumEd. Welcome to our third installment of a series of videos about financial aid and paying for college. In this video, we're going to look at some special situations that you might need to be aware of, and then how to file for financial aid. So let's talk about some special situations. So when we talk about financial aid, need-based financial aid, there are the two terms, dependent and independent, when it comes to the student. And there's some misconceptions about exactly what that means and how it affects the filing of financial aid. So if the student is independent, that means that only the student's numbers are going to be used in filing. If they're dependent, then it's the students and the parents' numbers that have to be submitted and to determine what the family can afford for one year's cost of education. And there's specific rules that cause a student to be independent. Obviously, it's a much more positive situation financially if the student is independent, but there's very specific rules that determine independence. They have to be 24 the year in which they file. Yes, 24. They have to be a graduate or professional student. They're a veteran or they're on active duty. They're married. They have other dependents, or mom and dad are both incarcerated, or they're a ward of the court. These kind of things. There's a whole list of criteria that could determine independence on the part of the student. But just for the average high school student who's living with mom and dad at home, just because the parents think that they aren't going to pay for college doesn't make the student independent for financial aid purposes. Parents' numbers have to be submitted in order for the student to receive any sort of offer for financial aid. And again, as I indicated in an earlier video, have access to student loans if that's part of the plan to finance college. In terms of parents who are divorced or separated, there's specific rules regarding whose numbers are filed. So the current rule is that it's the parent who has provided the most financial support for the student in the previous year. And that's normally also the parent who claims the student on taxes. So that's the rule right now that we're operating under, beginning this coming fall. And then there's also, if you have more than one student in college, then there's going to be two different student aid indexes developed. You have to submit for each one, and they will each have their own standalone student aid index number. And the previous second student discount that we used to be able to lean on is no longer in play as of this fall. 529 college savings plans, and if parents own it, it's considered a asset of the parents. If it's owned by grandma and grandpa, it is not looked at in the formula. So there's other nuances and specifics that drive how we file certain aspects of the family's financial circumstances. So my suggestion is that you get with someone who understands the financial aid system, understands the rules, and can help you make sure that things are filed correctly. Just like having an accountant do your taxes, it's really important to make sure that you do, file the right numbers, so you get the eligibility that you deserve, and you're not putting yourself in harm's way financially. So there are two processes for filing for financial aid. The first is the federal process that uses the free application for federal student aid. And it is administered by the Department of Education. It is used by all colleges and universities to distribute federal money, and in most cases state money. If the school is a state school, they receive state funding. It is used for that purpose. So every school uses that, private and public. CSS Profile, College Scholarship System Profile, is administered by the College Board. It is used by many private colleges and universities who do a good job of handing out collegiate money, and they feel compelled to understand the family's finances in more detail. So they are, handing out money in the right way to the right people. So it is much more invasive in terms of the information that it is asked, but it is important to file that if you're at a school, a private school that requires it, because they're not going to provide any assistance without that form. And in some cases, there are public schools who use it as well. Here in Virginia, UVA and William and Mary also require the CSS profile because they lean heavily on their collegiate money to help students. So you may, depending on the schools that you're applying to, have to file both forms. In most years, we begin filing in October 1st of the senior year of high school. We can file those forms this year because the rules have changed and they are in the process of getting everything changed over. The deadline has been moved to 1 December, so you aren't going to be able to file forms until December 1st or after this year, but it'll still be based on 2-year-old tax information, as we have been in the past. So again, if there's any questions on that, please reach out. And so then once we have been accepted, received those offers of financial aid, and have determined where we're going to attend, and understand the assistance we're receiving and what the family's got to bear in terms of cost, then it becomes a mini financial plan for the family. How are we going to pay for the other part of it that we're not getting financial aid for? As we talked about in the beginning, how do students today pay for college from different sources? So again, it's that coming up with that plan for where we're going to find the money to pay for that cost. And there are different places that you can go to, and as we said here, how much, and priority wise, we want to make sure that we're looking at the budget first. What can we absorb in the budget? Schools have payment plans that 10 months in most cases. Are we going to take out additional loan? Are we going to lean on equity in the home? Is there personal assets that we can use? Again, is there some families even look at borrowing from 401k. The issue there is, and the danger is, if you don't pay that back in a certain period of time, taking money out of 401k, then it becomes income to the owner. So that's probably one of the last things you want to do. So we can certainly help come up with a strategy for paying the family's share. And if we do a good job, maybe dad won't have to sell a kidney. Make sure that Johnny or Susie can go to college. And as I said, if you have any other questions, give us a call at ask@optimumedcenter.com, or give us a email, ask@optimumedcenter.com, or call us at 804-417-4807. We'll see you on the next video.